Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I show the gameplay by Juan and Sergio, and this beautiful game complete in 33 moves. And let's see how the game play. The game starts with a pawn to e4, c5, knight f3, e6, d4, and here the pawn c takes d4. After the capture, now the knight capture it back, and at this move you can see the knight in the center of the square and have many activity for the white. So the game continue with a6 to prevent the knight to move to b5. Then after this, here the white plays c4, trying to gain control of the center with the pawn. And after this, knight f6 was played, trying to attack the pawn. And here, this is the first 5 moves and the position is equal. And the game continues with the knight to c3, then queen to c7, and here the white continue to play bishop to e2. Then the bishop goes to b4, trying to pin the knight, and after this move the knight moves to c2 and try to attack the bishop. After this move, the bishop go back to e7, and here it will become the Sicilian variation. After this, the white continue to play short castling. Then d6 was played, and after this the white play f4, continue to bring the pawn to attack and control the center of the board. And now you have a 3 pawn in the row 4. Then after this, the knight goes to knight d7, and here this is the first 10 move and the position is still equal. Then the white play queen to d3. After this, the black go for short castling. Now b4 was played, bring up another pawn to the board, and after this b6 was played, trying to defend with the row 6. And now bishop b2 was played, and after this the black play bishop to b7, keep on develop, and after this the rook a to c1, bring the rook to here so that later the rook can attack the queen. And now the rook a to c8, and at this move, the black has formed a position that is called hedgehog, one position which had the pawn at here and the 4 pawn at a6, b6, d6 and e6. And the structure like this is very hard for the white to attack. So after this move, the white just move the pawn to g4, and you have here continue the 5th pawn to attack. And now h6 was played from the black, and after this the white play a very nice move of h4. And at this position you can see that there is a 6th pawn of the white versus the 4 pawn hedgehog of the black. So with this move, the black move d5, trying to break off the pawn structure of the white. And here the white just capture, c takes d5, and after that pawn capture, e takes d5. One of the better suggestion can be played also. The bishop capture the pawn at b4, and here if you knight capture, then the queen can goes to c5 and check the king and win back the knight. And after this move, the king have to move or defend with the rook. If you rook to f2, then the queen will just capture the knight. So in the actual game, after this move, the black play e takes d5, and after this move, the white do not capture back the pawn. Instead, he push the pawn forward. Let's say if you use the knight to capture, then the knight will just capture, and after this the pawn can just capture, and this pawn is strong and also will block the bishop diagonal to attack. So in the actual game, after this move, the white push the pawn forward to keep on the pressure on the black. Then the knight to e4 was played, also keep on control the center of the square and keep on attack the white. After this move, the knight capture the pawn, and with this capture, the queen can freely capture the knight. So therefore, the bishop capturing back, and now the knight goes to e3 to attack the bishop. At the same time, the rook also attack the queen. If you use the queen to capture, for example, queen takes the bishop, then the knight can go to c3, attacking the queen and also attack the bishop, and also can check the king and win the rook. And if you use the bishop to capture, then the queen will just capture. And you can see that if this knight seems to be free, but if you capture the knight, then the queen can go to g3 and check the king. And after this move, king to h1, queen will continue to check to h3 and also back to g3 check, and this will create a perpetual check and it will be a draw. For example, queen to h3 check, king to g1, queen to g3 check, king to h1, queen to h3 check, king to g1, and the queen will continue check, and this will be a draw. Therefore, back to this version, after this bishop capture, the bishop will capture back the pawn, and now the rook will just move up to protect the knight, and after this move, the bishop will just back to d3 to prevent the check. And now you bring up the rook again to d8, continue to attack the queen. And after this move, the knight can just go to e3, and now you give the rook to attack the queen and also attack the rook. And at this position, the black can just capture the rook, and after the rook capture, then the rook will continue check again. And after the check, let's say the king move to g2, then here come another interesting move such as a knight to c5, and this knight allow the rook to attack the queen, and if the queen move to any location, the knight will just capture the bishop. So for example, if the queen move to any move, will be a bad move, such as if you move the queen to f3, then the knight will just capture the d3, and at this position the black is clearly winning a piece. So back to this position, after the bishop takes the e5, the knight to e3 was played, and in this Hedgehog game the bishop to c6 was played. Then the knight continued to attack by playing knight to d5, and here the knight is attacking the queen as well as attacking the bishop and able to check the king. So the queen just go back to d8 to protect the bishop, and now the white is better in this position. Another suggestion that the black can play would be a bishop to c5, and this is a bishop sacrifice. So after this sacrifice and check the king, for example, if you use the pawn to capture, then the bishop will capture the knight, and if you use the queen to capture, then the knight at d will take the pawn, and once take the pawn you protect back the pawn, and you can see at this position it will be a double knight versus a double bishop, and the position is equal in this situation. So the bishop sacrifice will be a very nice move in this position to save the knight attack and this fork. So in the actual game, queen d8 was played, and after this move here, the white play a rook sacrifice by capturing the bishop. So after capture the bishop, then the rook continue to capture it back, and now the queen just capture the knight at e4, and after this the bishop just capture the free pawn at h4, and after this the rook now goes to d1 with the idea of attacking the queen at d8 by moving the knight away. For example, the knight can go for a check, and also the queen will attack the rook. So at this position, the white has many ideas to play in this position with this rook at d to pin the queen. So after this move, b5 was played, and now the king goes to g2, and this king to g2 will allow a material in position to gain the material, and here this king also can prevent the attack from the black. Then the white, after this move, the black continue to play queen to c8 to double up the pieces, and here bishop to d3, and this will have a queen to h7 and have a simple checkmate, threaten to win at this position. Then g6 was played, and now the white push the pawn forward, and this move is the white is up to not a very good move, and you have many idea in this position. It also, this move f5 is to have the attack at this position, and the white also can attack the pawn. Also, you can push the pawn forward to attack the knight and attack the pawn as well. So after this move, rook e8 was played with the idea to attack the queen, and after this move, e6 was played, and this pawn is attacking the knight and also attacking the pawn, and able to check the king and also can win the rook. However, in this version, the black seems that this attack is nothing, therefore the move the queen to b8, and with this move the black have the idea to check the king, and after that we will continue to check the king in this position. So for example, if you make a move from the white such as a3, then the black can just continue to check the king, and if the king move wrong to f1, it will be a checkmate. And if you move the king to h1, then here nothing much the white can do, you can just capture the pawn. So therefore the black idea is to move the queen to continue to check the king. However, in this game, after queen to b8, and the white is clearly winning the game, because this pawn can capture the f7 pawn and attack the king and also attack the rook, and with this the black have to capture back the pawn, and after capture back the pawn, and now the f pawn capture the pawn, and g6 continue to check the king. And here if you use the rook to capture, then the white can just capture it back because it's protected by the bishop. So if you capture the rook, then the queen you just capture, and you can see that the king has not much place to move and it's being controlled, and the only way to play is to move the king to f8. So after king to f8, then you have a queen to g7 checkmate. So back to this position, after this move, the check, king g8 was played, and now the queen goes to f3, and with the idea of go to f7 check the king, then edit to checkmate the king. And in this game, f8 was played, and now come a very beautiful move. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the white continue to play and win the game. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the beautiful moves that the white play. And this move, the white made a knight to e7 and check the king and attacking the rook. And this is not only attack the rook, this is a knight sacrifice which allowed the bishop to capture. But if this sacrifice, this allowed the queen to go to d5 and continue to check the king. And this knight check is called a discover attack with the current strategy. This knight attack allowed the queen to occupy the square at d5, and after this move, bishop capture, and this current attack allowed the queen. Actually, the queen can just capture the rook, but if you capture the rook, the white is going to win the game. However, if the queen just go to d5 and check it, and this current attack, the white is winning the game, because after this check, you can see that the queen is checked the king, the bishop is control the square, and the bishop is protecting the pawn, and the pawn is attacking the square. And after this move, nothing much the black can do to defend the check, and with this, the black resign the game. And if you don't continue the game, such as to block with the rook e6, then the queen will just continue to capture. And here, if you want to block with the rook, then the white can just continue to capture with the queen. Queen takes the rook, and this will be a very nice checkmate. And with this, thank you.